Hello, Namaskar and Abab to all my friends from your friend astrologer and guide Irfan, once more with you from your very own channel Astro Assurance. In the signs in houses series, we have done from Aries until Capricorn so far. Today we will be doing the sign of Aquarius in different houses. What are its manifestations, what are its disseminations, and what are its denotations, what are the probabilities that you may get out of this placement, what are the results you may get. So let's jump right into it and see how Aquarius sign going into different houses gives us different possibilities, different manifestation. Now when the Aquarius sign goes into the first house, this makes it the Aquarius Lagna, which means these people will be like the Aquarius thinkers, liberal, large-hearted, deep-thinking people, and they are very socially conscious also. These people will be looking at various elements of life, purpose of life, with a lot of thought, with a lot of purpose, and with a lot of goal orientation. So being large-hearted, being liberal, every area of their lives they will be thinking along the same lines. They will be very socially conscious, socially responsible, and their life generally will be much larger than themselves or their immediate family. And sometimes even if in the most trying of circumstances, these people cannot think for themselves, they think of others because of having the sign of Aquarius energies. These people like to connect with people, very highly motivated. These people overall in later part of their life, they also get a lot of stature because of how they carry themselves, how they represent themselves. I've said this in many of my videos earlier as well, saying that if Aquarius sign is not strong in your horoscope, if Aquarius sign is not well placed with good conjunctions, good planets placed in it, then the person may not get the highest of success. So when Aquarius goes into the Lagna, especially if there are also strong planets connected to it, then this person truly lives life of dignity, strong motivation, and in every area of their life they may get a keen focus towards larger areas, larger goals, larger disseminations, and larger contribution that they can do. So a good thinker, a deep thinker who thinks much beyond himself, very socially responsible, likes to connect with people, likes to take higher responsibilities, and likes to work for higher causes, is a person who knows who to connect to, who not to connect to, and through their connections are able to give or contribute amongst the highest in among all the signs of the zodiac. That is the Aquarius sign in the first house. Now when the Aquarius sign goes into the second house, so here the large deep thinking, large heartedness, social consciousness all get attached to the areas of the second house. So this is a person who is a deep thinker in the areas of how they get their remuneration and what they do with their remuneration. These are people who are large hearted, not for themselves but for the community, for the dependents also. And because they are large liberal thinkers, they also think large in areas of how they will earn their remuneration. So usually they like to work for large causes, large brands, large organizations, large brands, and they like to work in an area where they know they are able to contribute more than what probably other zodiac signs will be. So usually these people also being large hearted, you will find that these people may not have large savings. They end up saving only to be able to spend that too on their community, on their dependents. So it's not an easy sign to have Aquarius in the second house because of not that the ability to earn is less, but the ability to spend for other causes, larger causes for others is higher. These look at life beyond remuneration, beyond earning, and so a life where they can balance their social responsibilities, remuneration, how they earn their livelihood, doing for the community, and doing all of this with a social cause behind how they earn, their nourishment. And that is the Aquarius sign in the second house. When the Aquarius sign goes into the third house, these are deep thinkers, liberal thinkers, large thinkers, and so their communication is also similar. When they communicate with people, they will also be large hearted in their communication, they will be very liberal in their communication, and in their communication you will find a social message, or they will be talking a lot about society, neighborhood, citizenship, family, responsibility, and through that, through themselves being very socially conscious, they will also be able to influence others. They have a strong ability to influence others, and in fact be very good counselors, be very good teachers also. These people will be able to influence others because of how they think, because they are socially conscious, they are socially responsible, they are able to think much beyond themselves. So they look at life beyond themselves, they look at larger goals, they like to communicate to people. So these people can be very good social influencers also on the social media also. These people being large-hearted, they will also work very hard, more harder than the others, maybe for the same remuneration, maybe for the same fruits of labor that they get. So these are also the people who will also look beyond themselves and family, maybe even at the neighborhood. Usually with people with Aquarius in the third house, the neighbors will be pretty happy because these people are also large-hearted. And because of Aquarius energies, their wishes and desires are also connected to how much they can contribute to others beyond themselves, how much they can do for the neighborhood, and how much they can do through their messaging, through their advice, through their counseling and guiding, to be able to improve the lives of multitude of people much beyond their lives, much beyond their areas of influence. And that is the placement of Aquarius sign in the third house for you. Now when the Aquarius sign goes into the fourth house, here these people are very deep thinking, large-hearted for the family. And so these people being large-hearted, they are also very socially conscious of what the dynamics of the family are, who has what nature, who has what fallacies, who has what shortcomings, who has what weaknesses. So when they deal with people, they will keep in mind who has what weaknesses, and that's how they will also act. So many times they end up being more large-hearted for others. For example, if they feel somebody has a weakness, is impatient, so these people will try to be more patient so that the other impatient person is not put through anxiety. If they feel somebody has a larger need for larger comforts, so these people don't mind sacrificing even their comforts for the sake of the family. So usually these people are deep thinkers, they think deep, they try to understand people, they are large-hearted for the family, and they will go to any extent to keep the peace in the house, to keep the tranquility in the house, to keep the happiness in the house as well. And they are also the one who may take highest responsibilities in the family, for the family, to be able to contribute more, to do more. So one of the most large-hearted people, one of the most liberal people, who are very socially conscious of their responsibilities as a member of the family, as a member of the larger community, and through that they are able to contribute the largest, not only to the immediate family, but also sometimes they are able to do much more for many families beyond their own families. And that is the placement of Aquarius sign in the fourth house. When Aquarius sign goes into the fifth house, what is the fifth house? The fifth house is the house of your romances, children, power, influence, and also upheavals in your career. Fifth house being the 8th house to the 10th house. But when Aquarius sign goes into the fifth house, these people are very deep thinkers, they are very liberal thinkers, they are also very socially responsible. So many times they are also very responsible toward their partners. Even in a romantic situation or in a romantic alliance or in a romantic relationship, they are very conscious of the need of the partner. They are very responsible or feel responsible for the partner also, and because of being large-hearted, they end up doing most for their partner, maybe giving more time, giving more affection, giving more attention, pampering the partner also, sometimes expecting the reciprocation also to happen. But however, everybody may not be as large-hearted as them, and so many times they later on feel shortchanged, that they have not got as much as they have given. Similarly, they are very large-hearted for their children. They want the best for their children. They will even sacrifice their own needs to be able to do more for children, to be able to send their children to better schools, and in some way to be able to give much more to society, much more to their love and affection, much more to their relationship, much more in their career as well. And so sometimes their careers also go through ups and downs because they end up doing more. They are more liberal, they are more socially conscious of their responsibilities as colleagues at work, and so sometimes they are shortchanged, and because of sometimes not feeling appreciated enough, they may also want to change their jobs. And so initial part of their lives, they may also go through upheavals in their career because of being giving too much away in their responsibilities at work and getting less back. So people who like to connect, who like to remain connected, who also, if they are getting into artistic mediums, they can be people with mass adulation, huge performances, and they like to also, if getting connected to the arts, represent themselves or represent their art in front of large masses. And sometimes if they have good conjunctions, good aspects on the 5th house, then this can be one of the most famous celebrities with the most mass adulation ever. And that is the placement of the Aquarius sign in the 5th house. When the Aquarius sign goes into the 6th house, what is the 6th house about? 6th house is about service, overcoming competition, overcoming inimical forces, being able to serve more large-heartedly, doing more for society. It is also the house of sickness. So when Aquarius sign goes into the 6th house, these people are extremely liberal, extremely large-hearted. They will not make the differentiation between who they are helping, who they are serving, who is able to take more from them. They just believe in contribution, and even in their service, when they are serving, they are looking at the larger social context in which they are serving. It is not only about money. Money comes into the picture only when they see that there is no other social responsibility that they are able to adhere to through their service, through their job. Being large-hearted, they end up doing a lot for the teams also. They take higher responsibility than are required for the role that they are playing. When working under someone, they also go out of the way to help people. But sometimes because of being too large-hearted, they also end up sometimes giving off more than they can afford. Sometimes they may loan money also, or sometimes they may take more money also than they can afford. And so usually in give and take of money, sometimes they find themselves shortchanged. If they believe in social causes, especially connected to serving, usually they work for large organizations, large bodies, and usually through their contribution they are able to reach out to the most number of masses, much more than any other zodiac sign. That is the placement of the Aquarius sign in the 6th house for you. When the Aquarius sign goes into the 7th house, what is the 7th house about? 7th house is the house of relationship, teamwork, business orientation, partnership, connection, expectations, marital, conjugal responsibilities. So when Aquarius sign goes into the 7th house, so here the person is very socially conscious of their role in the partnership, their contribution in the partnership. And so these people like to connect, but sometimes they like to take higher responsibilities than are needed, than are required. And so they end up taking more responsibilities on their own heads to do more in the partnership, to do more in the relationship. So sometimes they may even spoil the relationship because the other person feels that they are entitled to that kind of a behavior. And so later on, if these people are not able to do as much, then there is a chance of friction also between the partners, because the person with the Aquarius sign in the 7th house has given too much, sometimes even spoil the partner. And so usually these people should refrain from being too large-hearted, but try to keep the balance which the 7th house represents, because usually with Aquarius in the 7th house they end up giving too much to the opposite partner, taking too much responsibilities also, because remember Aquarius in the 7th house means Leo as the ascendant. So people who feel very responsible in their relationship, who contribute a lot, who are very large-hearted, will take more than they can chew in the relationship, only to feel that they have not got as much back in the bargain are the people with Aquarius sign in the 7th house. When the Aquarius sign goes into the 8th house, what is the 8th house? The house of transformation, the house of upheavals, the house of obstacles, the house of sudden challenges, also the house of hidden areas. So when the Aquarius sign goes into the 8th house, this is a person who feels very large-hearted and very socially conscious of those people who are troubled. So this is a person who will go out of the way to help people also, feels stronger for the large masses also, wants to do more for the masses also. And generally these people are also in the best place to be able to contribute more, because they are large-hearted, they are very liberal. They are very liberal in their efforts, not just in their thinking. So these are the people ever ready to help. These are also your 4 a.m. friends. And because they look at life and responsibilities beyond themselves, they end up doing much more for the large masses also. And sometimes they get connected to large organizations who also work in the areas of the 8th house. Taxation, audits, government work, and so on. And because it is the Aquarius energy is going into the 8th house, they also are people who have a lot of interest in the occult, also interest in those hidden elements. So these people sometimes put a lot of effort to do a lot of research in areas of occult, in areas of the hidden sources, hidden forces, hidden elements. And so these people can also be very good guides, very good teachers, very good counselors. So people who are very responsible, who are very helpful to others, who reach out to others in the areas of challenges, obstacles, issues, much beyond their means, deeply focused to the areas of the 8th house, intuition, mysteries of life, mysteries of and vagaries of life, are the ones with the Aquarius sign in the 8th house. When Aquarius sign goes into the 9th house, what is the 9th house? The 9th house is the house of higher education, higher experiences, your gurus, traveling far and beyond your place of birth, place of thinking. So these people are one of the best philosophers, best thinkers. They are always thinking. Their thinking is also very large, very, very liberal in how they think about other religions, how they think about other faiths, how they think about their gurus. So there is much more than they are always expecting in their learning, in life's experiences also. So these people go out of the way to research more, to learn more, and they have a deep thirst for knowledge, whichever area interests them. So sometimes you can call these people as learners or students throughout their lives, because they have such a deep desire to learn, deep desire to absorb, deep desire to inculcate. And so these people are sometimes one of the most learned people that you can find around, especially in the realm in which they do the education in, especially in the realm in which they do their learning in. Being very large hearted, they are open to learning even through the most trying of circumstances, and very rarely will you find these people frowning or being extremely sad. Usually these people will try to keep their sorrows hidden within their hearts and try to do more for others. So people who can be very large hearted, very liberal thinkers, being able to connect with large masses, being able to do more for others, use their education and higher learning to contribute to most other people and for large social causes, are the people with Aquarius sign in the 9th house. When the Aquarius sign goes into the 10th house, what is the 10th house about? This is the house of commitment, loyalty, working with superiors, working with higher responsibilities, working with higher authority people, dedication, discipline, structure in work. So when Aquarius sign goes into the 10th house, these people are people who will take a lot of responsibilities at work. If they are in one project, they don't mind putting their hands and feet in other projects as well. Or these people are not able to say no to their superiors. So they end up taking higher responsibilities. They end up taking or shouldering higher responsibilities than are needed for their scope, for their project, for their role. So they end up contributing the most. They seem to be available at all the times, and so sometimes they are disturbed all the times by their colleagues or even their bosses. And usually their dependency of the bosses on these people is very high, because they seem to be the most responsible people around, the most committed people around, and also very accountable. So people who work for large causes will look at the cause of the department, cause of the company much larger than themselves, and so will end up working for long hours, contributing the most, looking at the larger responsibilities that they have, and through that they will be able to reach out to the most number of people, whether in the team, whether in the organization, or whether to the industry that they work in. That is the placement of Aquarius sign in the 10th house for you. When the Aquarius sign goes into the 11th house, these are natural energies coming together, because Aquarius sign is the natural ruler of the 11th house. So here, this is a person who is a very socially conscious, very large hearted for social responsibilities, very good friend, may have very strong social connections, may also feel very socially responsible, and so these people may also have a large network, or at least even if they have a small network of friends, they feel very large hearted towards those people. So many times they may open up their hearts, sometimes open up their souls to such people, and if they get connected to large causes, they may even get their souls connected to large causes, and they end up contributing most to large causes more than any other zodiac sign. So generally these people you will find working for large organizations, large brands, even those NGOs who will take up the cause of some social challenge, some social responsibility, and even in the organization they will end up contributing the most, working long hours, working very hard, and in the end you will find that if you look at the contribution of people who are working for the same cause within the same organization, these people will stand out most from the others. Very good friends, your 4am friends who will stand by you through thick and thin, sometimes even sacrificing their most deepest desires and wishes for the sake of friends, for the sake of society, for the sake of organization, are the people with the Aquarius sign in the 11th house. When the Aquarius sign goes into the 12th house, 12th house is the house of isolation, spirituality, solitude, hospitals, armed forces, working away from the place of your birth, working in a different environment from the one that you are suited for or have been born out in or been raised up in. So when Aquarius sign goes into the 12th house, these people are very large hearted, and so usually these people may be even large hearted in their expenses, but generally the expenses are not for self. They are not splurging to have a great life and to be outlandish in their needs. These people end up doing more for friends or social society or for family. Whatever they spend on, whatever they put their effort on, whatever they are contributing most on, it is not for themselves. Most of it is for others. If they are working alone or in solitary areas or working as an independent contributor, there too it is not because they will get a good remuneration, they will get a good role. Usually they end up doing most because they also believe in the cause much beyond their remuneration, much beyond what they are getting from the role. So people who will go out of the way to do more for others, even at the expense of putting more effort and getting less, doing more than getting less, contributing more and getting less, and this is also because they feel very spiritually towards doing more for others. And usually these people also have these questions: what am I doing in this world? What is the larger responsibility that I am here, larger goal that I am here? So this self-reflection is always going on in their mind. The spiritual questioning is all going on in their mind. So if somebody can really contribute the most to society, most to the masses, and get a strong crack at moksha itself, salvation itself, through the highest spiritual elevation, then this is the placement of the Aquarius sign in the 12th house. So friends, now that we have talked about the presence of Aquarius sign in the 12 houses, see in which house is your Aquarius sign, what are the yogas or doshas involved, what are the planets placed in it, what are the planetary aspects in it, because all of this will give a different flavor to how you think for others, how liberal you are, how large hearted you are, and how you will be able to contribute most to the social causes, most to the social masses, and through that maybe get stupendous success, mass success, even celebrity like success. And if you do, truly deserve that. So friend, like this video, share this video, and if you're looking for a personal consultation for me, please reach out to me at the links given below. Till some other time with some other video, this is your friend astrologer and guide Irfan signing off.